This week on ATV News, a former campaign official for Trump's presidential campaign pleaded guilty Friday to 2 criminal charges. Boko Haram kidnaps more young girls, and the 2018 Winter Olympics come to a close. I'm Max Boko-Cole.
And I'm Savannah McCann. ATV News starts now.
A teacher strike in West Virginia starting Thursday has caused all public schools in the state to close indefinitely. The strike is approximately 277,000 public school students out of school. The teachers are protesting due to low salaries after data from the National Education Association ranked West Virginian teachers' salaries at 48 out of 50 states. Dale Lee, West Virginian Education Association president, had to say during protests at the Capitol in Charleston, "Our members have spoken and are not prepared to go back to work yet," end quote. A resolution with the teachers' union has not been made thus far.
Facebook removed a virtual reality shooting game after community backlash. For the second year in a row, Facebook set up a booth at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. This year, their booth featured a demo of Bullet Train, a VR game that lets players pretend to shoot people at a train station. Facebook's vice president of virtual reality said that, quote, "In light of recent events in Florida and out of respect for the victims and their families, we have removed them from this demo," end quote. Facebook's presence at the conference is striking up controversy since the company has been accused of spreading fake news. Facebook reps at the booth have been instructed to not comment on the matter. Let's turn to Julia Wanning-Zimmer for your politics report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Julia Wanning-Zimmer with your politics report. The shooting in Parkland, Florida has sparked national debate on gun control. As protesters throughout the country rally against gun violence, politicians are calling for various solutions. President Donald Trump proposed arming teachers and launching stricter background checks, while Florida Governor Rick Scott defied the NRA when he proposed banning bump stocks and raising the minimum age for buying guns from 18 to 21. Rick Gates, a former campaign official for Trump's presidential campaign, pleaded guilty Friday to 2 charges in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. Gates pleaded guilty to conspiracy against the United States and making false statements. He also agreed to cooperate with Mueller's investigation. A grand jury in St. Louis, Missouri indicted Republican Governor Eric Greitens for charges related to an affair he had in 2015. Greitens reportedly took a naked photograph of the woman with whom he had the affair without her consent and threatened to blackmail her with it. Greitens has confessed to having an affair, but has denied reports of blackmail. For ATV News, I'm Julia Wanning-Zimmer.
Thanks, Julia. It is so sad week after week we are reporting stories like Parkland.
It's true, but at least we are seeing change coming with teenagers rising up across the country and really holding their congressmen accountable to making change on this issue.
That's so true. Rainfall and melting snow have been a cause for concern across the South and Midwest. Floods have been affecting thousands spanning from Michigan to Texas. A state of emergency has been declared across Kentucky. Governor Matt Bevin issued the executive order on Friday. The order is in place for 30 days and will allow state resources to be mobilized to help the cities in need. Rainfall is expected for the coming week. Rescuers are on standby in case an evacuation is declared.
Black Panther broke records in the box office this week after making $292 million, making it the best North American opening week for a Marvel Studios film. In addition to receiving high praise from audiences and critics, Black Panther has received a score of 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, making it the best scored Marvel movie on the platform. Director Ryan Coogler said in an openly penned letter about the movie, quote, "I'm struggling to find the words to express my gratitude at this moment, but I will try. Deep down, we all hoped that people would come to see a film about a fictional country on the continent of Africa made up of a cast of people of African descent," end quote. Let's turn to Grace Rogers with your entertainment report.
Thanks, Max. I'm Grace Rogers with your entertainment report. Mary J. Blige, Andrea Day, Gael Garcia Bernal, Common, and others are set to perform at the 90th Annual Academy Awards on Sunday, March 4th with host Jimmy Kimmel. The comedian is hosting for the second consecutive year in hopes of making a comeback after last year's Oscars snafu when 2 presenters mistakenly said that La La Land had won the award for Best Picture even though Moonlight had actually won. Who remembers Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall from the television series Sex and the City? The actresses played besties, Carrie Bradshaw and Samantha Jones, on the series, but since plans for a Sex and the City 3 movie were canceled, Parker and Cattrall have publicly feuded. The feud recently came to a head when Cattrall announced the passing of her brother. Cattrall tagged Parker in an Instagram post that read, quote, "I don't need your love and support at this tragic time," end quote. This week, actor Jason Lewis, who played Cattrall's boyfriend on the series, commented on the feud during an interview with KTLA5. Lewis said he is Team Sarah because Parker always treated him well on set. Fergie performed what some are calling a sultry rendition of the national anthem at the NBA All-Star Game. Critics slammed Fergie for her version of the Star-Spangled Banner. The Grammy winner responded to critics by saying that her rendition, quote, "didn't strike the intended tone," end quote. Fergie's ex-husband, Josh Duhamel, defended the performance at the Ellen DeGeneres show on Friday, emphasizing Fergie's talent and resilience. For ATV News, I'm Grace Rogers.
Thanks, Grace. That national anthem really was something, wasn't it?
I don't know if I would call it a sultry rendition, but it was definitely something.
I couldn't contain myself watching that. That was too funny.
Well, neither could the NBA players or some of the fans. I don't know if you saw that.
Too funny, too funny.
Now let's turn to Robyn Walters with your sports report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Robyn Walters with your sports report. The 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea have come to a close. Some of the highlights for the United States include the day that two 17-year-old snowboarders, Chloe Kim and Red Gerard, won gold in the women's halfpipe and the men's slopestyle, respectively. The moment that figure skater Nathan Chen landed a historic 6 quadruple jumps, and the second that the women's hockey team beat Canada to win gold for the first time since 1998. The Winter Games were a roller coaster of emotions for me, and I cannot wait for the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, and the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. Meanwhile, the 2018 NBA All-Star Game took place Sunday night at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Team LeBron beat Team Stephen 148-145. As Grace mentioned, Fergie gave a performance of the national anthem that shocked the nation. Kevin Hart, Pharrell Williams, and NERD also performed at the game. Hart performed before the game and then introduced the teams, while Williams and NERD performed various hits at halftime. For ATV News, I'm Robyn Walters.
Thanks, Robyn. The Winter Olympics are always so fun. It was a great run, but they're over now. I'm sad to see them be done.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the World Cup following up in Russia and the next Summer Olympics, which are always fun to watch. I love watching those.
Oh, I can't wait. Southern Africa's water crisis is getting better, but is by no means solved. Cape Town announced that their day zero is being pushed back to July. Just 3 weeks ago, Cape Town residents were told by officials that the city would run out of water completely by late April. If this were to happen, this would be the first major city in modern times to reach this point. Officials are encouraging residents to keep cutting its water consumption. The city has made major conservation efforts by cutting their water usage in half since 4 years ago. Let's turn to Austin Bartola with your science report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Austin Bartola with your science report. A new study found that Neanderthals might have created painted images on cave walls over 64,800 years ago. A team of researchers visited several caves off the coast of Spain, where they underwent the process of uranium-thorium dating using samples of flowstones covering the paintings. The age of the paintings contributes to growing evidence indicating that Neanderthals were capable of symbolic thought and were more advanced than researchers previously thought. Scientists uncovered a new factor that could lead to the development of dementia: alcohol consumption. In the largest ever study of its kind, researchers from France studied 1 million adults diagnosed with dementia and found that 16.5% of the men and 4% of the women had some form of alcohol abuse disorder. The study showed association, not causation, but the strength of association surprised researchers, who now speculate that alcohol abuse is one of the most preventable risk factors for dementia. And Google is working with partners at Verily to develop a new artificial intelligence technology to detect heart disease. The company's software uses images of a patient's retina to determine how likely he or she is to experience a cardiovascular event within 5 years. The software is based on data and photographs for more than 284,000 patients and was tested on 2 data sets with a 70% accuracy rate. Doctors say that they must conduct further testing with larger sample sizes, but that the software's accuracy rivals that of more invasive procedures used to predict cardiovascular disease. For ATV News, I'm Austin Bartola.
Thanks, Austin.
You know, it's incredible how far technology is bringing us along in the science and medical field these days. Artificial intelligence is really pushing us beyond the boundaries of what we know and what we can do.
Oh, exactly. It's incredible to see where the two are overlapping and where we're going to be in 5 years or 10 years from now.
It's crazy. Snapchat saw a loss of $1.3 billion in its stock this week after a tweet made by celebrity Kylie Jenner on Wednesday. Kylie tweeted, quote, "So does anyone else not open Snapchat anymore, or is it just me? Ugh, this is so sad," end quote, and caused the company's market value to plummet with an unprecedented amount of time. Jenner's criticism seems to be motivated by the large backlash against the recent Snapchat update that many cite as confusing and unnecessary. Users of the app are so opposed that several have made online petitions asking Snap Inc. to reconsider the change. Now let's turn to Irene Serrano for your World News Report.
Thanks, Max. I'm Irene Serrano with your World News Report. More than 400 people died in the eastern suburbs of Damascus in Syria this week as Syrian government warplanes supported by Russia continue to bomb the area. Government officials warned civilians to leave Damascus for their own safety by dropping leaflets over rebel-held territories. Meanwhile, casualties have flooded local hospitals. World leaders are calling for an immediate ceasefire. At least 90 girls were abducted by Boko Haram in Nigeria Monday afternoon. The country's government faces its biggest challenge after the 2014 Chibok mass abduction of 276 schoolgirls. Nigerian Minister of Information Lai Mohammed was hesitant to provide concrete information about the abduction, saying, quote, "On the issue of the number of girls missing, we cannot give what we are not sure of," end quote. After the Chibok mass abduction in 2014, the government's slow response prompted the international movement Bring All Girls Back. For ATV News, I'm Irene Serrano.
Thanks, Irene.
It's going to be really interesting to see what the United States' response is to this recent update in the Syrian civil war.
It's true. Only time will tell whether President Trump will or will not take action on this recent update. It's very saddening.
It is. That's it for ATV News this week. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. I'm Savannah McCann.
And I'm Max Abokukul, and see you next week.